So my camera is completely fogged.
Oh, it's still
Humidity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so they're like having me do live this. I don't know. It didn't. It happened yesterday, but it cleared up after like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, this time of year it gets
It's
crazy.
not clearing up. I don't know what to do. I have to do it. And it's not external. Like the outside lens is clear, so it must be internal.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you just got to give it time.
Yeah.
You can sit in the sun and. Yeah, back in the beta days, we'd always carry around a hair dryer.
Yeah, I remember using like the setting your car's heater on the floor and just put it on on your where your feet are, and then that kind of works. But
Yeah, when I was traveling a lot, in the hotel room, I would whatever towels or whatever I would pack it, so that it wouldn't get cold at night.
me a favor?
Yep.
Just hold, we're sending this out live. Just hold
Sure.
that for a second.
Yep.
I'll be right back. You guys get a little better, so I think it's just needed, like you said, to be out in the sun.
Yeah, my camera did the same thing yesterday.
Yeah, usually I have like an hour before I actually go on, and they're like,
Yeah.
as soon as you get there, go live.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's much better. We're good. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
We're going to be shooting.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Now. Oh, okay. I didn't know you. Are you guys up now?
No. I just mean your camera will end up in our shot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can scoot over. How's that? Better?
Should be okay.
Do you mind if I plug in?
Yeah, mine.
Oh, you do mind?
I always do. People, I said, your question, do you mind? You plug in? And I said, yeah, fine. And then they plug in. I said, I do mind.
It's too early to be. I'm on West Coast time. I'm not even awake yet.
Hey, listen, I'm good. I just woke up this morning. You heard what we're talking about, right? We're going to take a break for a little bit and then come back here. Alright, so I'll see you guys later. Alright. I'll give you a call, ring. So who's staying? I thought you were going to arrange something with one of the other two. Yeah. I'll just get by. Or I knew where we could take turns. So good. Let me get the van pull up over here. Let's get crap in the car.
You think his supporters will show up today? Here, like yesterday, or no? Maybe not.
No, I think that the organized ones are more down at the courthouse.
Yeah.
Some of those Latinos might show up again. And if that kid from Channel 9 tries to jump in my shot again, he's going to...
Well, you know what? Those are Australians. That was an Australian crew. That's at 9.
Oh.
I know them. They work in LA, and I'm from San Francisco. They've never been that aggressive before. They're pretty cool. I don't know what got into them.
Yeah.
But I was about to say something.
Oregon homeowners, all the electric companies are raising their rates, but you can stop them. By getting solar panels installed at no cost to you, you'll get your power
domestic or international travel. Remember, there was no mugshot taken. From what we were told, the court was relying on images out there in the public domain. That's kind of how that was described to us. So they did not take a mugshot there. Hopefully we'll get some more reporting on that as well. But you can see we have aerial live pictures overhead outside the courthouse, because we do have this ground shot view of the entrance and exit of where the motorcade will come out of the underground parking garage. So remember, he's traveling not only with himself, he's with Walt Nauta. They dined together at Doral just yesterday, and he is the co-indicted conspirator in this. And so hopefully we'll hear from some of his legal representatives. I'm not entirely sure if they have the same legal team. We also heard from a member of Trump's legal team who's not representing him in this case, her name Alina Habba. We'll play out some of that sound a little bit. All right, we do have the motorcade here. We do have the motorcade. Let's listen. All right, you are hearing there chants of USA, supporters of the former president out there lined up on the sidewalk to catch a glimpse of Donald Trump. He'll be 77 years old tomorrow as he leaves the federal courthouse in Miami. And so right now the motorcade is headed to the airport there so he can board his private plane and head back to Bedminster, New Jersey, where tonight he is expected to deliver remarks to his supporters there for his reaction of all what has transpired today there. It looks like U.S. Secret Service, in conjunction with Miami-Dade police, are making this caravan escorting there outside. You can see there, let's watch. You can see him. Looks like a double thumbs up there to his supporters. Let's keep listening. Oh, okay there. So viewer discretion is advised. Looks like someone is getting arrested. Now, this has been a figure who has been at this courthouse outside for the last several days. Oh, wow. He's being taken to the ground there. And you can see here, it looks like they are trying to get people out of the way of the motorcade there. This individual, he is an anti-Trump protester. You can see there he's wearing black and white stripes, kind of mimicking and parodying a prisoner there. And you can see many now Trump supporters openly shouting at him as he is taken into custody. So that's quite significant. He has been a fixture, one of these characters in this story throughout the course of the last couple of days. So we got that live. That was very, very interesting. But as you know, viewer discretion is advised during all of these protests. We lost that shot there. Okay, we got this shot back. Ground shot now of the motorcade there, of hundreds of supporters of the former president, protesters who disagree with the former president's actions, making their voices heard, police really having to settle things down and calm things down. They're taking this individual into custody here. And if you've been following this story closely, you probably recognize that individual. He's been out front and center throughout the course of these protests. And so we'll hopefully learn from some of our reporters down on the ground of why he was taken into custody there. some excitement a little bit there outside of the courthouse along the route of the motorcade there. And now the motorcade continues to go. We're going to just listen in to see if we have sound on some of this. No, it's just chopper audio. We apologize. That's not a fun sound to listen to. So I'll keep talking here as we continue to follow the motorcade. Traffic at a standstill as the former president and his team of attorneys alongside Walt Nauta. We also were told that his son, Eric Trump, is traveling with him today. They are making their way to the airport to fly back to Bedminster, New Jersey, where he will deliver remarks, we're told, around 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 5:15 Pacific. So we'll bring you those remarks as well. But you can see there, no traffic in their direction, traffic at a standstill, police holding it at bay, so the motorcade can travel to the airport to get out pretty swiftly after this arraignment. Now, the arraignment lasted about an hour, we're told. If we have more of a specific time frame, we'll get that to you. But it was a little over an hour. Former President Donald Trump being arrested, booked there into custody, and leaving there. Now, we were told there's some reporting out there to suggest that he had to pay some type of dollar amount to leave. We don't know if that's a bail or a bond, but we're being told he didn't release himself on his own recognizance. So we will make sure to provide you that information. But you can see there, the motorcade cruising swiftly on the highway there down to Miami's airport. So we are going to keep this shot up. We're going to be bringing in more and more voices into our coverage here, legal analysis, reporters down on the ground who cover the former president, who cover all of this, his legal headaches and hurdles, and the 2024 election as well. Primary season is heating up. Candidates are visiting the early states. We've also been talking to some of our reporters and analysts about whether or not this will interfere or impact former President Donald Trump's campaign schedule. So it does look like the motorcade being led there by officers from Miami-Dade Police as they are headed to the airport right now. Let's leave you with this shot. We're going to talk over there. Oh, you can see that big cargo ship there in the canal. That's something. Okay, so right now, 1 o'clock on the West Coast, 4 o'clock on the East Coast there in Miami, Florida. This is Andrew Kraft. We're going to keep this shot up of former President Donald Trump's motorcade there, traveling to Miami's airport to fly out on his private plane back to Bedminster, New Jersey, where he will deliver remarks to his supporters tonight there at his club with his reaction. Remember, you have heard time and time again the line that former President Trump has said, saying if they can do this to him, they can do this to you, citing the fact that they could possibly, they being the Department of Justice, the Biden White House, go after his own supporters, he said, and is acting as kind of a stand-in for his supporters. So it's always quite interesting to hear the rhetoric of the former president. It looks like we're going to lose that shot here. We're going to keep some of these shots up. They're going to go in and out since we're relying on some of this chopper feed from some of our affiliates down on the ground there and in the air. We do have it back. Let's take it. Okay, so it's not that far of a drive from the courthouse to the airport. We're going to keep this up. We're going to get you more and more information on exactly what the former president is facing, what he did today in the court during his arraignment. Also, Walt Nauta, the co-indicted conspirator in this as well. And so his supporters continue to linger and loiter and mingle there outside of the courthouse. You saw the throng of them really shouting jubilation, shouting chants of USA, voicing their support for the former president. You also saw some anti-Trump protesters be taken down by police there. We don't know for what, but you saw one of those prominent characters there who's been quite vocal in his anti-Trump opposition be taken into custody. That was quite something. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is while the former president's motorcade is traveling to the airport here, we do want to take the opportunity to play for you some of the remarks Alina Habba made during, well, this was before the arraignment, but Trump was in the building and she spoke to the media. She is not representing the former president in this specific legal matter, but has in several other legal matters in the past here. So we want to show you this. We have not shown you this just yet. But we're hearing from a spokesperson, a representative of the former presidents, commenting about what has all transpired today. This was, I believe, while Trump was in the courthouse for his arraignment and for his booking. Let's listen to this.
It is not about the 2024 election. It is about the destruction of the long-standing American principles that have set this country apart for so long. In recent years, we have seen the rise of politically motivated prosecutors who don't care for impartiality, who don't care for due process or equal protection of laws. They have been quietly but aggressively cultivating a two-tiered system of justice where selective treatment is the norm. From the Russia hoax to the attorney generals to the corrupt DAs in Georgia and New York, and now this. The people in charge of this country do not love America. They hate Donald Trump. What we are witnessing today is the blatant and unapologetic weaponization of the criminal justice system. The Biden-appointed special counsel has sought fit to bring 37 federal charges against President Trump, the leading frontrunner, less than a year and a half before an election. Countless other individuals, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden himself, retained possession of classified documents yet have not been prosecuted. And none of them came into possession of those documents while they were president. None of them were president who, as the head and sole member of the executive branch, has the power to summarily declassify documents. The decision to pursue charges against President Trump while turning a blind eye to others is emblematic of the corruption that we have here. We are at a turning point in our nation's history. The targeting, prosecution of a leading political opponent is the type of thing you see in dictatorships like Cuba and Venezuela. It is commonplace there for rival candidates to be prosecuted, persecuted, and put into jail. What is being done to the President Trump should terrify all citizens of this country. These are not the ideals that our democracy is founded upon. This is not our America. Thank you.
So what's happening right now inside the courthouse? Has he been arrested? Has he been fingerprinted? Has a mugshot been taken? Walk us through what's happening here now.
President Trump is in a very unique position where he doesn't need to be given a mugshot, obviously. He's not a flight risk. He is the leading candidate of the GOP at the moment. He is going through a process that has been coordinated with Secret Service, and it will all be handled seamlessly.
Thank you, guys. The attorneys, what is the state of mind? Just real quick.
Okay, Alina Habba there talking about the Trump line there, about what his entire team there think of what has happened today. We also have ground shots. It looks like the motorcade is getting ever closer to Miami's airport there. So we have all of these different angles. And you can see supporters, detractors of his lining the route here as the motorcade makes his way to the airport there. So we do have this overhead as well. Let's take that live shot. Oh, it does look like the motorcade has stopped. Oh, the motorcade has stopped, I believe, possibly at a restaurant. It looks like that is the Versailles Bakery, the very, very famous bakery in Little Havana in Miami. I believe that is where the former president and his entourage have now stopped before heading to the airport. It looks like what the press calls an OTR. That means it was an off-the-record, unannounced stop. Let's just see if we can hear anything on this feed here. As the former president's motorcade has stopped, they stopped there at Versailles Bakery. It's a very famous Miami establishment there, known for its famous Cuban food there in Little Havana. Let's keep watching. Let's listen. Okay, we do have a shot inside. All right, we have this shot inside. It does look like bear with us here as we learn more information about what exactly is going on. You can see there the former president. All right, he's entering in there to Cafe Versailles. We're going to be popping in and out of the shot so we can see the former president. We can hear from the former president as he meets with some of these Floridians, Miami residents there. We're going to keep an eye out if we have a shot inside, if he makes any remarks there. So this is quite significant. Remember, if you haven't been to Miami, this is a huge Miami hotspot destination, Cafe Versailles. It's historic. It's in the Little Havana Cuban neighborhood in Miami. And former President Trump and his legal team and his friends and family who are traveling alongside him have decided to make this pit stop before heading to the airport. All right, we're live inside. All right, we have the shot. Let's take it.
You're the champion.
Father, we thank you that you've given us President Trump to stand against the wave that's coming against our nation. Father, as Cuban Americans, we declare communism will not come to our shores. Father, we thank you that you've anointed him and called him for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Padre, vengo a decir, a pedirte por este varón, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, bendito tú eres, Padre, creador del universo. Te pido que unjas a este hombre con toda fortaleza, disipando toda tiniebla, todo principado que se haya levantado en contra de él. Dale fortaleza en sus manos, dale firmeza en su cuerpo, dale ese espíritu de poder y dominio propio. En el nombre de Jesús lo declaramos libre de toda maldición y toda maldad. Amén. Amén.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Yes, coming right back.
Jesus loves you. President Trump,
One, get in.
We got a government that's out of control. What a great group of people. What a great group. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donna. Happy birthday to you.
time shortly. He's a great photographer.
We got these guys right here.
Thank you, everybody. That was great. Really nice. Thank you.
How did it go?
I think it's going great.
Okay,
I think it's a rigged deal here. We have a rigged country. We have a country that's corrupt. We have a country that's got no borders. We have a country that's got nothing but problems. We're a nation in decline, and then they do this stuff. And you see where the people are. We love the people, and you see where they are. You see the crowds and everything else. We have a country that is in decline like never before, and we can't let it happen. I'm going to make a little speech tonight in Bedminster, and I hope you're going to be there.
Can you start tomorrow?
You're going to be there. You can come too if you want, okay? Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
God bless Donald Trump.
Thank you, everybody.
Country of which you open your eyes.
Oh, I love that. Thank you very much.
God bless.
Thank you, God bless. Thank you, everybody.
Moving.
All right, so it looks like local media were ready and waiting for the former president to make this stop there to his supporters at Cafe Versailles in Little Havana in Miami. They're going to get back into the motorcade on their way to the airport there. You saw President Trump, former President Trump, very seemingly jubilant, even after he was just arraigned and booked on 37 federal charges there, stemming from that indictment from special counsel Jack Smith into the classified documents probe. And so apologies there. We do have still a live picture inside of Cafe Versailles. We know a lot of the members of the press pool running to catch the motorcade there. And you heard so many of the former president's supporters praying with him about this, singing him happy birthday. He turns 77 years old. Tomorrow is his birthday. But also, we heard from the former president himself. A lot of the same lines we've heard from him time and again about this entire ordeal, saying that this is rigged, saying that they're going to fight it, calling these fake charges there. So live now look inside of Cafe Versailles. Also, it looked like former President Trump took a photo with retired UFC star Jorge Masvidal. You've heard him call for him, asking, where's Jorge? And then a man with a ponytail and a black University of Miami hat posed for a picture with Trump. So we think this was Jorge Masvidal. And so hopefully we'll work on getting that confirmed. We have live pictures up overhead there in the air, outside there. Former President Trump getting into the black Suburban on his way there to the airport. You can see he's right there, live pictures. So quite an interesting detour here on his way to the airport. And you heard there many faith leaders offering a Christian prayer and a Jewish prayer as well, praying over the former president, wishing him well. Also, a chorus of happy birthday just spontaneously broke out there. Cafe Versailles, though, a fixture in Little Havana in Miami, and it looks like the motorcade is going to be up and at 'em very, very soon here.
They're only about 2 miles from the airport.
So we're told they're not very far from the airport itself. We have a live look there at the airport as well. We'll show you that in just a moment on the tarmac, but the motorcade is ready to go. It's about 2 miles away from the airport. You heard former President Trump also say that, and he was kind of previewing the remarks he's going to give later tonight there at Bedminster. Let's just listen to some of the sounds there on the ground. A lot of people out and about right now, mostly supporters. Okay, so you saw there that that stop there at Cafe Versailles, former President Donald Trump in Little Havana on his way to the airport to fly back to Bedminster, New Jersey, meeting with supporters. You saw hundreds of them there, kind of camped out outside of the restaurant, and they were on the sidewalk. They wanted to catch a glimpse of the former president. And I think a lot of people watching would agree with me that the former president seemed in good spirits, even after having just been arraigned, booked, and arrested on 37 federal counts. Obviously, we're a day away from his birthday tomorrow, and the president, Trump, he did seem in good spirits, taking this as well as he can. No doubt this is a major, major legal and political headache for him. He now has 2 indictments pending against him, one in state court there in New York, and now one in federal court here in Miami in the Southern District of Florida. So the motorcade now up and at him again, back cruising to the airport. We're not very far away from the airport. We're going to continue with this coverage here until the former president gets on his private plane and they take off to fly back to Bedminster, New Jersey. But this is what we know. It's been quite a day as former President Donald Trump was arraigned there in court in the Southern District of Miami over these 37 federal charges in the classified documents case. Looks like we do have as well. I'm going to put both of these shots up. We have a shot of the Trump private plane on the tarmac there in Miami. We're going to put both of those shots up here. All right, here we go. Wanted to show you all of these images, and we have been doing that from the very early morning here as we continue to cover this major, major story today. So in the upper left of your screen, you can see the motorcade making its way overhead to the airport and also Trump's private plane there on the tarmac in Miami. So we also have been showing you some of these protesters, supporters of the former president. He just stopped there at Cafe Versailles to speak with supporters. They prayed over him. They sang him happy birthday. And Trump himself spoke very, very briefly, kind of previewing his remarks tonight, saying that the whole system is rigged. I'm paraphrasing there. You've heard him say that time and time again, though. So like I said, just to give you a sense of how our coverage is going to play out the rest of the afternoon here, we're going to be speaking to legal experts. We're going to be speaking to reporters in New York City and in Florida as well, continuing to cover this story. We're going to be getting reaction in as well from members of Congress, declared presidential candidates, and we're going to still keep poring over the indictment. I have it in my hand about what it says, what it accuses the former president of doing, and what his chances are, legally speaking, of fighting this in court. Will it go to trial? Will it be a conviction? Now remember, an indictment is not a conviction. A prosecution is not a conviction. All that has to be stipulated. And so we also have a lot of other stories we are going to get to as well. As once Trump's plane takes off there on the tarmac, we will be moving on to some of these other big headlines today. It's been a very busy Tuesday. No doubt other things are happening. So in the meantime, we're going to leave these 2 shots up here. We're also going to be getting reaction in from Capitol Hill. We heard from House Republicans today. We also heard from Senate Republicans today. All right, if you're just joining us here on Live Now from Fox, this is Andrew Kraft. Donald Trump has become the first former president to face a judge on federal charges as he pleaded not guilty in a Miami courtroom just mere hours ago to dozens of felony counts that he hoarded classified documents and refused government demands to give them back. Remember, August 8th of last year, the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago to get those documents back. So this is a history-making arraignment. Centering on those charges, Trump mishandled government secrets that as commander-in-chief he was entrusted to protect. This all kickstarts a legal process that will unfold at the height, like I said, of the 2024 presidential campaign. It will also carry profound consequences not only for his political future, but also for his own personal liberty. Remember, obviously he's not been remanded into custody all over this. He is out. He is a free man right now, but he is still facing this huge, huge legal campaign headache. But like I said, it's all about his own personal liberty as well. Remember, tomorrow he turns 77. He is an elderly man, and he is facing, and we've been hearing from our legal experts, a lot of time in prison over these charges. That's what they carry if convicted. And so many of the legal experts we've talked to said they don't think he's going to go to prison. Doug Burns tells us not a chance. Andrew Lieb says, well, we don't know. We have to wait if there's a possible conviction. We just don't know. But they carry quite a lengthy sentence. And remember, there's 37 counts. So he approached his arraignment, and this is according to the Associated Press, with characteristic bravado, posting social media broadsides against the prosecution. Remember, in the last couple of days, he has been going after special counsel Jack Smith quite heavily, posting pretty nasty comments about him, his wife, saying that his wife is a Trump hater. You've heard that. You've seen that on Truth Social. But the gravity of the moment was unmistakable as he answered to 37 felony counts that accuse him of willfully retaining classified records that prosecutors say could have jeopardized national security if exposed. Remember, that's the violation, the part of the Espionage Act. And we've been making this stipulation with our legal analysts. He's not accused of espionage. There are facets and tenets of the Espionage Act about the willful retention and mishandling of classified records. Now, prosecutors say if those records were exposed, it could have jeopardized national security. And he's also accused of trying to hide them from investigators who demanded them back. So remember, this is also a watershed moment for a Department of Justice that until last week had never before brought charges against a former president. So you've been hearing me repeat that fact time and time again over the last week. This has never happened before in the history of the country. The Department of Justice has never charged a former president with a crime, let alone a federal crime. So, and you remember Attorney General Merrick Garland, Joe Biden's appointee to lead the DOJ, sought to insulate the department from political attacks by handing ownership of the case to special counsel Jack Smith, who you saw Friday come out in front of some of these cameras for about 3 minutes and say, quote, "We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone." So the arraignment, though largely procedural in nature, it's the latest in an unprecedented public reckoning this year for Trump, who faces charges in New York arising from hush money payments during his 2016 presidential campaign, as well as ongoing investigations in Washington and Atlanta into efforts to undo the results of the 2020 race. Now, remember, Merrick Garland also tasking Jack Smith to look into the January 6th Capitol riot probe, of which former President Donald Trump is at the center of as well. Now, Trump has sought to project confidence in the face of this unmistakable legal peril, like I said, attacking Smith as a Trump hater, pledging to remain in the race even if convicted, and scheduling this speech tonight and a fundraiser tonight at his Bedminster, New Jersey club. And so we also have to point out as well, you'll remember that just about a month ago, in mid-May, Trump was found liable by a jury of his peers in New York as well for defamation and battery in the case E. Jean Carroll, the the columnist and writer brought against him. The jury awarded her $5 million that Trump will have to pay. He is appealing that right now, but that was just another notch in the belt of all of his legal headaches and hurdles that are ongoing currently at this moment. Okay, it looks like we did lose our shot there. We're going to keep this up here as we continue to cover this story. Remember, until you see there Trump's private plane takes off the tarmac there at Miami's airport. And I believe the motorcade is almost there. You can see the traffic at a standstill to let the motorcade go through. And this is common wherever the president or the current president or former president is traveling. The Secret Service, police in the area, they put traffic at a standstill. So if you don't know what's going on, you're trying to drive around the streets and highways of Miami, no doubt you have been sitting in traffic for some time. It's quite snarled there because of the motorcade traveling to the airport there. Okay, so we do have a ground shot there on the tarmac, it looks like. Let's take this. So this is what we do here if you're new to Live Now. Once we get these pictures up from a particular story, we bring them to you immediately, live, raw, and unfiltered, and we narrate the story as it's going on. This is a live pic there on the tarmac on the airport in Miami. Live Now look there overhead as well, though, of the former president's private plane. He will take this back to New Jersey, where he'll deliver remarks to his supporters and then attend a fundraiser, remember, for his 2024 re-election campaign. He is the current frontrunner by a lot amongst the several declared candidates in the field already. We're going to be getting into a lot of these political questions during that speech a little bit later tonight, especially about this fact of the matter. This is a reality. It seems like more and more support comes the former president's way, the more trouble legally he is in. We'll break down that dichotomy and that paradox. Also, we'll be talking about later some of the political questions at play from some of the declared candidates themselves, including one, Vivek Ramaswamy. Today, he held a kind of quasi-press conference in front of the courthouse in Miami, urging his fellow contenders vying for the nomination to make a pledge or an oath or vow, at least, that if one of them gets the nomination and becomes president, that they would say they would pardon Trump. So that's quite a vow to make. We'll see if any of them declare to make it. So you're hearing that as kind of a litmus test kind of percolating amongst all of these prominent Republicans right now. Obviously, Chris Christie, I can't see doing that. Asa Hutchinson, I can't see doing that. They have come out vehemently and forcefully against the former president, especially this legal saga that he is facing there in Florida. All right, so we still have eyes on the motorcade there as it makes its way to the tarmac, as the former president and his entourage will leave Miami. They will head back to Bedminster, New Jersey. And then once we get a shot of that up, of course, I'm seeing pictures on social media. It looks like it's going to be outside of the club itself, on the grass, on the lawn. A lot of chairs set up. Remember, it's also a fundraiser, too, as we are in full campaign mode. But back to the case at hand. You'll remember a federal grand jury in Washington had heard testimony for months in the documents case. But then the DOJ filed it in Florida. That's, of course, where Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort is located and where many of the alleged acts of obstruction occurred. So that was somewhat surprising to see Jack Smith choosing to file it there, the grand jury, I should say, being impaneled and choosing to file it there. It looks like the motorcade is entering into the entrance of the airport. So though Trump was set to appear today before a federal magistrate, the case has been assigned to a different judge, a name you might know, district court judge that he appointed, her name Eileen Cannon. Remember, she ruled in his favor last year in a dispute over whether an outside special master could be appointed to review the seized classified documents. Raymond Deary, you remember. A federal appeals panel ultimately overturned her ruling. All right, so it looks like the motorcade going through these checkpoints here to get to the tarmac. And we're going to keep these up as the former president's motorcade will approach his private plane. Okay, it looks like the motorcade is getting ever closer there to Trump's private plane in Miami as they are about to take off or, get onto the plane. Right now, we also just want to keep describing for you all this, setting the scene. Now, remember, it's unclear what defenses Trump is likely to invoke as the case moves forward. Two of his lead lawyers announced their resignation the morning after his indictment. You'll remember Rowley and Trusty. And the notes and recollections of another attorney, Evan Corcoran, are cited repeatedly throughout the 49-page charging document, suggesting prosecutors possibly envision Corcoran as a potential key witness. Trump has said he's looking to add to his legal team, though no announcements were made yesterday. We do know he has secured jurisdictional representation. He was expected to be represented at his arraignment by Todd Blanche, an attorney also defending him in the New York case, and Florida lawyer Chris Kise, who joined Trump's stable of attorneys last year. Remember, we've been speaking with our legal experts about this. Under the rules of the district, defendants are required to have a local lawyer for an arraignment to proceed. Okay, so let's keep watching the motorcade there go. Oh, and you can see they are approaching the private plane here, Trump's private plane, and we will see them all embark on the plane and the plane take off there to Bedminster, New Jersey. We want to thank everyone as it's about 4:40 p.m. there in Miami on this Tuesday afternoon. And we're going to be hearing from so many of our reporters summarizing all of this. If you've been watching live, I hope you're doing a good job of keeping along here. I know there's a lot of information, but that's what we do here. We try to distill it for you, clarify it for you, and make it digestible. It's very complex. All of these legal terms. Okay, we're going to take one of these shots live here so you can see, and we can maybe catch a glimpse of former President Donald Trump walking up the gangway there, the steps, to get onto the plane, and they will take off for Bedminster, New Jersey. Or you can kind of make him out there. He is ascending the stairs right now, and that's the best shot we're going to get of former President Trump. He's waving there. I know it's kind of blurry there with the heat on the tarmac. That's the best shot we have at the moment. Oh, no, we have this shot here. Let's take it. There he is with the fist pump there as he goes into the plane there. So, caught it very, very briefly. The press pool traveling with him also got it to us. That's what we do here. We try to catch all of this for you so you can see it in real time, live, raw, and unfiltered there. So, like I said, the president seemingly buoyant, seemingly jubilant there. He was speaking to some of his supporters at Cafe Versailles. So at least outward facing, seems undeterred by all of what has transpired today. Obviously, we'll hear what he thinks about it later tonight at Bedminster. You saw some familiar Trump world figures there. I saw Jason Miller, who's going to be one of these lead individuals on the campaign. You saw Alina Habba there. We heard from her. There's Dan Scavino as well, traveling with the former president, who used to be in charge of his social media during the Trump White House years. So we're seeing a lot of these Trump world figures ascend the stairs, get onto the plane, head back to Bedminster. I was looking out for some of the former president's family members. He was photographed next to his son Eric walking into the courthouse. I did not see Eric get on the plane. We'll confirm that as well. It's always interesting to see who he is traveling with. Okay, so it looks like the press pool heading back into the van here. Let's take this live, better vantage point. So former President Donald Trump is now on his private plane awaiting liftoff to go back to Bedminster, New Jersey, where he will later tonight deliver remarks to his supporters and then attend a fundraiser for his re-election effort. So it's been a pretty busy, wild day. Former President Trump, like I said, now facing two separate cases. One in New York, one in Florida, on these charges that he violated tenets of the Espionage Act and obstructed justice when DOJ investigators wanted to get back these classified documents time and time again. All right, we're getting some more context and some more analysis from Fox News Department of Justice producer Jake Gibson. So, like I said, Trump has pleaded not guilty on all counts.
All right, the second file is a minute.
Okay, so this is what we know. Former President Trump, like I said, pleading not guilty on all counts. He never spoke to the judge and looked stoic through the hearing, which went on for nearly an hour. Walt Nauta, we're learning, could not plead as he did not have a local attorney. So, Walt Nauta, that is a wrinkle in this. This is a new development. Walt Nauta could not plead. He did not have a local attorney, so he will be scheduled for his arraignment June 27th. There in Miami. Also, okay, this is significant. Special counsel Jack Smith was in the room, but did not speak to the judge, Magistrate Judge Goodman. One of Jack Smith's prosecutors on his team, David Harbach, spoke for the special counsel's office, while Chris Kise, Trump's lawyer there in Florida, spoke for Trump. Trump was released with a couple conditions. Specifically that he show up in court for future hearings and not commit any other crimes. So this is quite significant. These are new details coming to us from Jake Gibson, Fox producer at the Department of Justice. Trump did not have to surrender his passport. He does not have any restrictions on his travel, though the Judge Goodman, does not want Trump to talk to any potential witnesses about the case. Okay, 4:45 there on the East Coast, 1:45 here on the West Coast. Everyone is on Trump's private plane. It will soon be taxiing to take off there to Bedminster, New Jersey. But we also know, oh, we just lost the shot. We apologize there. Looks like, all right, we're going to work on getting that shot for you. We apologize there. I think we can use some of these other shots there. Let's take this one here. All right, so bear with us here. We're also diving into some of the details from inside the arraignment, from inside the courtroom. This is all new coming to us right now, saying that many of those witnesses may be people in Trump's inner circle. So there will be a no contact list and a list of people he can contact but cannot speak to about the case. That's significant. So let's repeat all of that because this is new at the moment. We also know he has just posted on his Truth Social as well. I'm going to take that very quickly first. Let's put that up here. So Trump saying, "Thank you, Miami. Such a welcome, warm welcome, I should say, on such a sad day, all caps, for our country." So Donald Trump on his Truth social media platform saying, "Thank you, Miami. Such a warm welcome on such a sad day for our country." Back out live there on the tarmac in Miami. So we're getting more details from inside the courtroom during the arraignment itself from Fox News DOJ producer Jake Gibson. I'm going to read it as follows, and this is Gibson's reporting. Trump, he was in the courtroom. Trump pleaded not guilty on all counts. He never spoke to the judge and looked stoic through the hearing, which went on for nearly an hour. Walt Nauta could not plead. He did not have a local attorney. Nauta is scheduled for arraignment on June 27th in Miami. Special counsel Jack Smith was in the room but did not speak to the judge. One of Jack Smith's prosecutors, David Harbach is his name, spoke for the special counsel's office, while Trump's attorney in Florida, Chris Kise, spoke for Trump. Trump was released with a couple conditions, specifically that he show up in court for future hearings and not commit any other crimes. Trump did not have to surrender his passport. He does not have any restrictions on his travel. The judge, though, does not want him to talk to any potential witnesses in the case. All right, looks like we have a different vantage point there. Going to take that shot here. This is a live picture as he will soon leave Miami for New Jersey here. We also know that many of those potential witnesses, they may be people in Trump's inner circle, meaning Trump might know them. So there will be a no contact list and a list of people that he can contact but cannot speak to about the case itself. Okay, so just a little bit more color from inside the courtroom. Jake Gibson is reporting this is also the first time we're aware of that Donald Trump and special counsel Jack Smith have been in the same room. It's pretty significant. So Gibson reporting, because he was inside, saying there was not any eye contact between the two men that Gibson could make out. Trump sat with his arms folded most of the time, talking with his lawyers occasionally. We never heard him speak today there in court, and the magistrate Judge Goodman never addressed Trump directly. Now then, Goodman asked both sides if they agreed to waive the reading of the indictment, to which they agreed. It's 49 pages. So the matter got to Trump's arraignment fairly quickly. Most of the arguments from both sides was about Trump's contact with potential witnesses, with the defense pointing out that they don't even have a full list of witnesses just yet. All right, so there were about 30 reporters in the room. There were a handful of members of the general public. The first two rows behind the prosecution were members of special counsel Jack Smith's team and other DOJ officials. 3 rows behind Trump were filled with Secret Service agents and U.S. Marshals. Okay, so this is significant too. We had been wondering about this. Trump and his team reviewed the bond before he signed it. So there is no financial attachment to either Trump nor Nauta's bond, and government prosecutors said they do not consider either man to be a flight risk. And we're also told they did not ask the judge to forbid Trump from using firearms as well, which is a common restriction in matters like this. So it does look like Trump's private plane is taxiing here. It's about to take off to New Jersey. We're approaching the top of the next hour. It's about 4:50 there on the tarmac in Miami. I'm just going to raise some of the audio so you can listen into some of the natural sound there on the ground on the tarmac as we wait for Trump's private plane with his entourage all on board there to take off, as this has been quite a day. And so hopefully we will also get the, apologize there for that audio. Hopefully in a matter of hours, we'll also get some live pictures out of Bedminster, New Jersey. From what I've been seeing online, some of the photos posted from reporters already there, it looks like that's going to be taking place outside. Chairs are set up. Remember, it's a fundraiser. But also, Trump will take the opportunity to comment and react on what has all transpired today. Okay, so if you're just joining us here, this is Andrew Kraft, kind of guiding you through, narrating through this major story today as we are watching former President Donald Trump's private plane taxi on the runway there at Miami's airport, soon to take off, headed for Bedminster, New Jersey, after this marathon day where he was arraigned, arrested, and booked into custody, released, obviously. We have no timetable yet or time frame about when he needs to come back for any hearings, for any motions. We just don't know that yet. And remember, we've been speaking to a lot of legal experts about whether or not the judge's orders and requests for Trump to appear back might conflict and interfere with his campaign schedule. Well, if that is to happen, he has to do the former, not the latter, putting the campaign aside to deal with this if he were to schedule anything that might conflict with appearing in court for any of these dates that a judge might set. We don't have those just yet. It's much too early. So remember, we learned, I would say about a month after the fact, a specific date in the New York case when that trial will begin. That'll be March 25th of next year, the New York case. All right, and we're just going to be previewing some of the coverage we have a little bit later on while we watch the Trump plane take off there, well, taxi rather. We'll be speaking to some of our political reporters about the other